I don't even think this cheap ass computer can capture just the level of this, like Tesla sauce, this Nikola Tesla sauce. I gotta get y'all. I've been up for like 20 hours, working for like 14, traveling for like 4. That's how we go. But this just something I had to get y'all. Tupac shirt on. Man. Gun show. Arms out. Looking real structured. You know what I'm saying? This gonna be all Matrix moment because I'm just feeling it right now. I felt like I had an epiphany. Just things I've been thinking about the simulation, about the fact that this is all a simulation, about what's indicative of this being a simulation. So I'm gonna break it down like this. You know what I'm saying? You could say red pill and blue pill, the cat's eye beads, right? This world is but a transitory existence. To paraphrase the Quran, it's like a video game, right? This life is really like a video game. A computer, really, it would be more fair to say a video game is like this life. I'm fitting to get so deep. First of all, this life is a simulation. It's not permanent. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't hold up to continual scrutiny. Many things about it don't make sense. There are many glitches in this life. Think about it. This for all the flat earthers, right? Perception is reality. At one time, all you knew was what you saw. At one time, all we knew was our immediate surroundings. So of course we thought the earth was flat. You travel as far as you can go. The earth is flat. It's like a video game. When video games are primitive, there's a small area that's available to you. As the game grows, the map grows. As the map grows, it becomes more all-inclusive. It becomes three-dimensional, no longer flat. It becomes round. The same is true of your perception. Think Plato's allegory of the cave. At one time, you may think shadows are real until you leave the cave and you understand that those shadows represent real things. Perception, dimensions of reality. Man, it's heavy. It's like this. If you ever just had the feeling when moving through life that it's like, wow, I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm observing these things, I'm touching these things, but I am not this. You know what I'm saying? Am I this? How do people perceive me? People perceive me different than I actually am, than I feel. You can be up and feel that. You can be up and feel down. You can be down and feel up. It's heavy. This is for people who search, who feel. What is pain? Pain is when there's not enough information to process the simulation. The whole point of being here is to go through this existence to accomplish a goal of. Be careful what you make that goal. Some people want to make that goal spiritual growth. Some people want to make that goal mental growth. You know what I'm saying? Some people want to make that goal money. Some people want to make that goal attention. Some people want to make that goal, I don't know, being right all the time. There's no such thing as right. The only thing that's real is that we can know what's real is the self. This is your video game. This is my video game. This was his video game. This is her video game. This is its video game. It's a video game, right? The Quran says this life is but a transitory existence. It's not permanent. You ever hear the saying, life is but a trip, so pack lightly. It's easier to move on. Now, there's a war for the simulation. I've come to realize there is a war. I'm not going to say between good and evil or good and bad, or this and that, dark and light, dark forces and light forces. No, there's a war between varying factions for the simulation. There are scientists coming out saying this reality is a simulation. Computer scientists, physicists. This reality is a simulation. We've always known that. The Bible, the Quran has always postulated that this reality is a simulation. But they're trying to give it to you because they want to take you away from the source, the true source, not their source, not this technocratic revolution, attempt to replace religion, attempt to replace one dogmatic doctrine with a new dogmatic doctrine. No. What one has to understand is that the simulation has always been before there was science. The Creator created the simulation to bring you close to Him, to make you of Him, or, we use the Him, the masculine form, as a sign of respect to something that is so much deeper than classification. Like I said, man, we got to get heavy. It's the vibe right now. You know what I'm saying? It's all there. I don't know how the color gonna come off. Like I said, I shed light. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? And it's not easy. I just came from shooting on set, like 12 hours. And it's a blessing, if I may say so. But if you look up Jean Baudrillard, who a lot of his work, aside from the sister who they stole the Matrix from, a lot of his work was the conceptual framework for the Matrix. And you understand SImulacra and simulation. Understand, everything is a simulation at this point. This isn't Tupac. This is a picture of Tupac. Tupac can't be classified by putting up the middle finger in these simplifications, or even simply his music. Our perception of Tupac isn't real. It's just that our perception. It's a simulation. It's based on something was steeped in reality. That wasn't even based in reality because none of us knew Tupac. So it was a simulacra, which is a piece of a symbol based on a simulation. That's a great way to explain this. Your perception, you almost probably feel like you know Michael Jordan. You don't even know Michael Jordan. You know the you've encountered symbols that are representative of a simulation of Michael Jordan. That's how deep it gets. So I hope that I put my point across, and I want people to understand there's a war for the simulation. They're trying to take the simulation away from whatever you call it or classify it as. The creative force of the universe created everything, not the technocratic revolution that says that everything is, and they're saying the same thing that I'm saying, which is that this life is a transitory existence. But with that being said, don't treat it like it's worthless, because this life is important. Life is not to be spent in useless toil. It's to be spent in the acquisition of forms of wealth, which can be carried to the next existence, which can aid in growing and acquiring the next form of enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? And money can't necessarily do that. And I can't keep it realer than that. It's heavy, like I said, red or blue cat's eye. You know what I'm saying? This is for those who aren't scared to broach the deeper levels. Like I said, pain is when the simulation doesn't make sense. Pain is death and violence. When we don't understand why we go through this in existence, that's pain. It's when the simulation doesn't make sense, because it's real. It's all we know. It's a representation of what we think could be a higher reality, which has some permanence to it, which makes more sense. Think about it. There's so much that goes on in this existence. Hunger. You can go to any Wawa and or any corporate or publicly traded food corporation and see them throw away food. We waste enough food in this country for everybody in the world to eat, and people are starving. This is a simulation. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, man, we finna get deep. We finna take it on all different angles and levels. This isn't for alphas or betas. This is for people who strive to be acquainted with Omega. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, for all of that. You know. So, man, it is the sauce, That's culture. I prepare the sauce. You go to any nice restaurant. That's what I said. Money is only something if you've never had it or been around it. And I can't even say I've had it, but I've been privy to knowledge and been around it. And I know millionaires who don't know what a saucier is. They talk about sauce and dripping, but it's the saucier. Blessings.